I don't think anyone would argue that this team isn't the #1 team in the country and the most talented team in the country. But I want you to give it to me straight. What are the odds that you guys go undefeated?
This was 10 years ago, and I said my goal before I retire is to coach a team to a 40-0 record.
We can boil this game down to one stat. Dayton, 7 of 16 from 3. Syracuse, 0 for 10. Wow. The moment in that first half when Trevor Cooney, the only gunner on that team, airballed 2 threes, that's when you knew they were in trouble. Might have one of, if not the most impressive coaching trees in college hoops. Billy Donovan, Tubby Smith, your own son Richard, to just name a few. What is it about you that makes you someone who enjoys mentoring not just players, but also future head coaches?
Well, I call it building bridges.
This is heartbreaking, and I think the question is, what will the end look like for Derrick Rose? Will it look like Sandy Koufax, Bo Jackson, guys that kind of fall off the face of the earth? Or will it look like someone like Grant Hill, a guy who was a superstar and then became a very good, I call him a role player, isn't quite right. He's a little more than a role player, a very competent NBA player, not an MVP level player. That's what I would hope for.
Devin plays for John Calipari's second platoon, but he still gets starters minutes on a team stacked with future NBA players. He's second on the team in scoring with 11 points per game.
You came into this place as a player people knew, but now people are talking about you as a lottery pick. How have you been able to process the past 6 months?
It's unbelievable. You know, just to know that it came this fast.
The trips that you and your father took to the Final Fours over the years, the stuff of legend, especially this year when you made your first Final Four 7 months after he passed. Was there one...
And we beat Arizona on what would have been his 89th birthday.
That's wild. Was there one poignant moment during that lead up to the Final Four where you almost could feel your father's presence?
They've waited 22 years to get their shot at Kansas. So is this their dream come true, Reid?
Absolutely. It is 162 miles from Allen Fieldhouse to Koch Arena down in Wichita. But there is absolutely zero rivalry between these schools. Look, Wichita State is a high major school in a mid-major conference. There's absolutely no advantage for Bill Self of Kansas to play them. That's not to say that Greg Marshall of Wichita State hasn't tried. He's tried again and again and again. Bill Self has said no. Perhaps one reason is because in 1981 in the Sweet 16 they played, and guess who won? Wichita State by 1 point.
Do you think 40-0 will ever be done?
I hope so by us. I hope so by a team that I coach. I've said it before I retire, I'd like to coach a team that goes 40-0 because they say you can't do it.
You've often spoken about being an outsider in the world of college basketball and about wanting to be let inside the velvet rope. Now, you're a member of the most exclusive fraternity in basketball.
This is surreal for me. This seems bigger than me.
Was that a personal validation of sorts?
No, but let me tell you what it was.
Reid, are Dez outbursts bad for the team?
I would say the exact opposite. I think this is good for this team. This team needs a fire lit under their ass at this point. They're 2-6. Look, they're about 4 plays away from being 6-2. They've had 4 heartbreaking losses. But look, when you bring on Dez Bryant to your team, you know what you're getting. You're getting one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, if not the best, and you're getting a guy who's always going to be emotional. I don't think it's a bad thing in his case. It's not like T.O. It's not the type of emotion that tears a team apart. With Dez, you feel like it's the type of emotion that brings a team together. I like the fire. I liked the fire when he broke his foot and was congratulating his teammates hobbling around. I like it when things are good in Dallas. I like it when things are going bad in Dallas.